With the fall season upon us, it's time for that cooler weather, and that means hunting season for some of you folks out there. What better way to process your own meat than with a meat grinder? Today we'll be testing out this number 32 Valley Sportsman 1.5 horsepower meat grinder by doing a meatball sub recipe. Now let's go put these on the smoker. These had a great mahogany color and were super delicious. We'll show you how, right here on Al Lunacy Queuing. Welcome back, my good people. Today we are featuring the Valley Sportsman number 32 1.5 horsepower electric meat grinder. We'll be using it in our meatball sub recipe, but first let's do a quick unboxing. Now the box arrived earlier in the week, and I'm not gonna lie, it's freaking heavy. Let's go ahead and take everything out of the box, then we'll do a quick look at the parts before I clean them up so we can grind some meat. And now here we are, everything out of the box and on the table. Now my previous experience with meat grinders was a cheap $50 grinder I purchased a few years back. It did the job, but nothing close to this quality. This thing's built like a tank. It comes with 2 steel grinding plates, the instruction manual, a screw to lock down the meat chute in place, and 3 sausage stuffing tubes. Crafted with a full stainless steel body, head, auger, and tray, and powered with a rugged 1.5 horsepower motor. Look at this. Heavy duty spin wheel. Look how thick that force, and look at the thickness of the plate. Crazy, right? Now I gave the parts a cleaning before we grind our meat, so let's put things together. The manufacturer states that the auger design is engineered for high-capacity meat intake, reducing the need for manual pushing and minimizing clogging. We'll give that a test, grinding 2 types of protein. Out of pork, and then this is the chuck roast, bone-in chuck roast. 2.57 pounds, 3.89 pounds. And so I went ahead and deboned the chuck roast, leaving most of the fat on, giving us 2 pounds of beef versus 3.89 pounds of pork, just short of 6 pounds total. For grinder meat, you see that we do have strips of pork butt here, all with the fat. Of course, we want all the fat. Then we have some pretty hard fat here in some of the places of the beef, the chuck roast. So let's see what kind of grind we can get. Of course, I purposely left the meat cut into strips instead of cubing them to see if the meat grinder would hiccup, but it didn't. It grinded right through. The thing I like about the large meat tray is that there is no safeguard rail like other brands. I know it's meant for safety, but a lot of times it just gets in the way of feeding your meat down the throat of the grinder. Now I'll leave this plain to see how fast it grinds through the meat. Now I went through 6 pounds of meat in less than a minute. That's pretty impressive. I felt that the first grind was too coarse to make meatballs, so I'm going to give it one more pass through the grinder and we should be good then. Now I've read the secret to a moist meatball is to add wet bread, so here we'll add some wet bouillon bread into the grinder. This will also help push out some of the meat left in the chute, making it easier to clean up. About, I would say, 6 ounces of water. We'll start with 1 tablespoon of olive oil, Italian breadcrumbs, a little bit of salt and pepper. This is kosher salt, and of course 16 mesh black pepper, Italian seasoning, chopped onion, garlic powder, is ricotta cheese. Two eggs. I never knew there was so much ingredients in meatballs, honestly. Yeah, I think I made the ball pretty quick, but I think I want a little more breadcrumbs in there just to solidify it a little bit. Yeah, I'm starting to get a better texture here. Easy to make a meatball. There we go. Let me clean up and we'll start making our meatballs. Okay guys, we made 30 mega balls. We still got a little bit more left. I'll make some small ones out of that one. but in another tray. And let's go put these on the smoker. Today we are using the Tailgating Barbecue blend of pellets by Bear Mountain Barbecue on our smoker. These pellets are crafted for a clean and consistent burn. It's a perfect balance of hickory, cherry, oak, and maple wood. Now let me show you how we're going to get a great color on these meatballs. We'll be using Bear Mountain Barbecue's cherry wood chunks in our smoke box. We'll feed 2 wood chunks at a time about every 45 minutes or so. An hour and 30 minutes later, let's do our first check. We are looking for a temperature of 165 degrees. We are almost there, so let's get to work on our meatball sauce. This will be our 3rd time loading our smoke box with cherry wood chunks. The meatballs already have a great color, but let me put a little more smoke on them, then I'll get you in on a close-up of them. All right, 2 full hours. We should be at, 170 there. Another one. Oh, these are 150. So these are pretty much done. I'm going to take these out, move these over here. Two and a half hours in. But these look fantastic. 160. Oh yeah, we're there. Let's mix the sauce. So these tomatoes are already soft, so I'm gonna go ahead and crush them. We got a bolillo bread. We just got a stick of butter and just open this up like so. The butter on the bread will give it a slightly buttery toastiness as we load our meatballs and sauce to our sub. Now look at that meaty, chunky meatball sauce. I like a lot of sauce on my meatball subs, but I know I'll pay for it later. Jeez. Okay, so here we're in the final stretch. We'll add some mozzarella and top it with some Italian seasoning. And then we'll just wait for the bread to toast and the cheese to melt. And here's the final product. Believe it or not, the meatballs on the left have yet to be sauced, but still have a terrific color to them. The pellets added a touch of savory smokiness with the added sweet taste and color of the cherry wood chunks. It really complements the sweetness in the sauce. I did put a torch on the cheese for a little bit to melt the cheese a little quicker, but now to try. But first, some stupid thumbnail poses that didn't make the cut. Okay, now to try. Damn, meatball heaven. Fantastic. I'm definitely gonna have to make this again, so let's do a quick recap. We grinded the beef and pork in the grinder, made about 30-some mega meatballs, and even got to save some in Ziplocs for later. Then we got a great color using cherry wood chunks and Bear Mountain pellets, and even made a chunky meat sauce to go with our subs. Very fun cook, very delicious, and happy you guys were there along the way. The Valley Sportsman number 32 grinder grinds up to 880 pounds of meat per hour. Its rugged 1.5 horsepower, 110 volt motor has a built-in overload protection, and its grinder delivers a consistent performance. Whether you're using it for small tasks or heavy-duty grinding, backed with a 6-year warranty and lifetime access to customer support. I'll have the link for it in the video description below, along with a promo code. I appreciate you guys hanging with me on this one. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope to see you all again very, very soon.